I've always had a terrible fear of being submerged completely in water. Not that I can't swim or anything. My dad made me learn. He said I almost drowned when I was really young. I was afraid of it because for as long as I can remember, whenever I am underwater and look up at the surface, I see a woman reaching down to me with a warm smile. With glowing golden hair and dark blue eyes. Even if it's just in a bathtub, it always happened. It was just normal for me, but I never got used to it. It was unnerving, but also soothing at the same time. She always made me feel like it was okay. I still avoided it, though, because I was just a kid and it was really freaky. I never told my dad about it as a kid, but I did ask him about my mom. He never wanted to talk about her. Sometimes he even got mad at me for trying too hard to bring it up. It was only recently that I described this apparition to him. He nearly drove into a telephone pole. Obviously, he knew something. I asked him again about my mom. He still wouldn't say much, except that she died when I was very young, and that she loved me very much. He also admitted that her hair and eyes were those colors, just like mine. So, I did some research on my own, looking her name up for myself on my birth certificate and trying to find any reference I could. Any news clips about a boy nearly drowning, anything. I mostly wanted a picture, something I could match to my guardian angel. Today, buried in our town library, I found it. Winchester. Marie Withy, 28, drowned to death yesterday evening after climbing a razor wire fence and fleeing to a nearby reservoir. A funeral is scheduled by her family for the 25th. Marie was institutionalized just 6 months ago after being found not guilty of attempted murder on grounds of insanity. Her husband, Daniel Withy, had acted quickly enough to rescue their infant child when she was found trying to drown him in a bathtub.
I'd had them ever since I was a kid. I can remember being incredibly self-conscious about them, hiding them in my pockets, under books and bags. The kids at school never said anything to my face, but I knew they were laughing behind my back. I remember asking my parents to take me to the doctor to get them checked out. The growths on my hands seemed to be the elephant in the room back then, since they'd say I was just fine and change the subject, but I knew better. I had tried to remove them as a kid, but without avail. Scissors, knives, potato peelers. Trying to cut or scrape them off was always a lost cause because I couldn't continue once the pain kicked in. But today was different. It's amazing how numb you can get with a couple of tourniquets and a bottle of Jack Daniels. I was originally planning to use a sharp knife, but figured that trying to slice through the tough flesh of the growths would be too hard in my drunken state. I opted for the slightly more technological plan B. I had to hurry though. I was already pretty lightheaded and was starting to feel dizzy. My hands and forearms, nearly blue from the lack of circulation, couldn't wait much longer either. The whirling of the blender helped to put me in a sort of trance, ready to do what I've wanted to do since I first looked down at my strange deformities. I shoved my left hand in first. The immediate sensation of its sharp blade slicing through flesh was jarring. But I was surprised at how well the alcohol was working. I expected it to hurt more. I could hear the sharp metal churning and cutting, working perfectly as planned. I pressed my hand down harder. All those bad memories, All of the embarrassment, all those horrible things were now more than a thick red pulp. Breaking from the feeling of ecstasy, I pulled out before the blades hit knuckle. I smiled, taking a good look at my new hand. As for the growths, well, 5 down and 5 to go.
This one is called the Old Hotel. There is an old hotel that has been around for hundreds of years. If you stay in room 6, you will find yourself in an unknown place where exactly at 12:16 a.m. the power will go out and you'll be thrust into utter darkness. If you choose to stay awake, nothing will happen beyond that. But if you so much as close your eyes and fall asleep, you will find yourself in an unimaginable pit of despair, where creatures of fathomless shapes and sizes roam. You will be trapped here for hours, until the sun comes up. It is rumored that this room is a gate into hell, and that demons use the condensed evil of the room to escape into our reality through our minds. Those who have stayed in there rarely speak of it, for even recalling that night will put them into an uncontrollable frenzy.
One school day, a boy named Tom was sitting in a class doing math. It was 6 more minutes until after school. As he was doing his homework, something caught his eye. His desk was next to the window, and he turned and stared outside. It looked like a picture. When it was home time at the school, he ran to the spot where he saw it. He ran so fast that no one else could grab it. He picked it up and smiled. It had been a picture of the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. She had a dress with tights on, red shoes, and her hand was formed into a peace sign. She was so beautiful he wanted to meet her, so he ran all over the school and asked everyone if they knew her or have ever seen her before. But everyone he asked said no. He was devastated. When he was home, he asked his older sister if she knew the girl, but unfortunately she also said no. It was very late, so Tom walked up the stairs, placed the picture on his bedside table, and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, Tom was awakened by a tap on his window. It was like a nail tapping. He got scared. After the tapping, he heard a giggle. He saw a shadow near his window, so he got out of bed, walked towards his window, opened it up, and followed the giggling. By the time he reached it, it was gone. The next day, he asked his neighbors if they knew her. Everybody said sorry, no. When his mother came home, he even asked her if she knew her. She said no as well. He went to his room, placed the picture on his desk, and fell asleep. Once again, he was awakened by a tapping. He took the picture and followed the giggling. He walked across the road when suddenly he got hit by a car. He was dead with the picture in his hand. The driver got out of his car and tried to help him, but it was too late. Suddenly, he saw the picture and picked it up. He smiled. He saw a cute girl holding up 3 fingers.
On the last day of every month, close the blinds or curtains before you sleep. If, in the middle of the night, you hear a tapping noise at your window, don't open your eyes. If you're one of the unlucky ones, you'll hear that pebble sound at your window. It's not a friend. Just keep your eyes shut. The sound will get louder. The tapping will get faster and faster. Don't let your curiosity get the better of you. Don't move. It'll lose its patience. It'll start thumping the window. Your window will shake and shudder, and the noises will only get louder. It will furiously pound the window and shake the panes. Don't worry. The window won't break, but for goodness sake, don't open your eyes. No matter how scared you are, no matter how badly you want to scream, pretend like you don't hear. Pretend you're still sleeping. After a while, the noises will stop. Don't fall for it. Keep your eyes shut. Try to sleep if you can. Don't get up. Don't open your eyes until the sun comes up. Those who do open their eyes, well, no one really knows what happens.
When you're admitted to a hospital, they place on your wrist a white wristband with your name on it. But there are other different colored wristbands which symbolize other things. The red wristbands are placed on dead people. There was one surgeon who worked on night shift in a school hospital. He had just finished an operation and was on his way down to the basement. He entered the elevator and there was just one other person there. He casually chatted with the woman while the elevator descended. When the elevator door opened, another woman was about to enter when the doctor slammed the close button and punched the button to the highest floor. Surprised, the woman reprimanded the doctor for being rude and asked why he did not let the other woman in. The doctor said, "That was the woman I just operated on. She died while I was doing the operation. Didn't you see the red wristband she was wearing?" The woman smiled and raised her arm. "Something like this?"